There is a version of you that cannot be baited into an argument, cannot be guilt-tripped into compliance, cannot be gaslit into doubting what they saw with their own eyes. That version isn't cold. It isn't emotionless. It's simply harder to reach because it stopped handing over the one thing every manipulation tactic depends on: a reaction. The first tool is frame control. Every interaction has a frame, an unspoken agreement about what's actually happening, who has the power, what's reasonable to ask for. Manipulators try to set the frame before you notice one exists. A guilt trip is a frame that says you owe something. A gaslighting attempt is a frame that says your memory is unreliable. The moment you accept their frame, even to argue against it, you've already lost ground, because now you're negotiating inside a reality they built. Frame control isn't about being right. It's about refusing to let someone else define the terms of the conversation. When someone says you're being too sensitive, the losing move is defending your sensitivity. The frame control move is simply not accepting that framing at all. I'm telling you how I feel, and that's not up for debate. You're not arguing their point. You're replacing their frame with your own, calmly, without asking permission. The second tool is the gray rock method, becoming quite deliberately as uninteresting as a rock. Manipulators are drawn to reaction the way fire is drawn to oxygen. Big emotions, whether anger or tears or desperate explanation, are fuel. Gray rock removes the fuel. Flat tone, minimal detail, no defensiveness, no engagement with the bait, no visible investment in winning. Not because you don't care, but because the manipulator doesn't get to see whether you do. This matters most with people who feed on emotional spectacle, the ones who escalate specifically because your reaction is the reward. Take away the reward consistently, and the behavior that was designed to produce it starts to lose its function. Gray rock isn't a permanent personality. It's a tool you pick up for specific people in specific situations and put back down when you're somewhere safe. The third tool is detaching your self-worth from someone else's opinion of you in real time. Guilt trips only work if your sense of being a good person depends on the guilt tripper's approval in that exact moment. After everything I've done for you only lands if you need them to see you as grateful right now. The people hardest to manipulate have already settled internally whether they're a decent person, so no single conversation can shake that conclusion loose. This isn't arrogance, it's closer to a quiet, private audit you've already run on yourself, one that doesn't need to be reapproved by whoever is currently upset with you. The fourth tool is the strategic pause. Manipulation tactics are built for speed. Pressure works best when there's no time to think. The person who says, "I need an answer right now," is often counting on you not noticing that urgency itself is the tactic. A pause breaks the rhythm the manipulation depends on. "I'll think about it and get back to you" is a complete sentence. It requires no justification, no apology, and it removes the one thing every high-pressure tactic needs most: your immediate compliance. The fifth tool is naming the pattern, if only to yourself. This is a guilt trip. This is gaslighting. This is love bombing. You don't have to say it out loud to benefit from it. The moment a tactic has a name, it stops operating in the dark. And manipulation, more than almost anything else, depends on staying unnamed, disguised as concern, reason, or love. None of these tools require you to become suspicious of everyone or cold toward people who deserve your warmth. Mental untouchability isn't the absence of feeling. It's the presence of a floor beneath you that doesn't move just because someone else is trying to shake it. You can still be moved by things worth being moved by. You just stop being movable on command. The people who struggle most with manipulation aren't weak. They're often the most conscientious people in the room, quick to consider they might be wrong, quick to feel responsible for someone else's disappointment, quick to fill an uncomfortable silence with an apology that wasn't theirs to give. Becoming mentally untouchable doesn't mean losing that conscience. It means no longer letting it be the lever someone else pulls. The frame stays yours. The pace stays yours. The self-worth stays yours. Everything else is just someone else, trying a door that used to open and finding it doesn't anymore. If this episode helped you see these patterns more clearly, let us know in the comments and subscribe for more deep dives into the dark psychology hiding in plain sight.